Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of The Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in this series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks. Hey everyone, it's John Miller. Real quick, I will not be putting out an episode next week, and possibly there will not be an episode the following week as well. I'm going to be out of town on work, and then my mother's coming for a visit, so I'm going to take a little break. But don't worry, I'm not going away. And also, this next video you're about to see is a product produced by my dear friend Danny Dodge. Those of you who've seen Everest the Other Side, you've heard his voice, he's the narrator. Really great product, I really want to support it, so putting this in right after that is this week's episode. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Danny Dodge, and I'd like to show you a tool I developed and fine-tuned over the past 20 years to get incredibly smooth video. It's called The Shaft. As a professional cinematographer, I pulled together over 26 years of experience filming action, adventure, and drama to design a tool that would allow me to create amazing footage with very little effort. The difference between normal footage and footage shot with the Shaft is huge. The Shaft works on the basic principles of gravity and inertia. Together, they work to keep the camera steady and level. Before I developed the Shaft, acquiring a similar shot would have required expensive, bulky equipment. Not now. The Shaft weighs in at just over 2 pounds and takes up almost no room, yet it performs like no other. It's perfect for weddings, sporting events, film shorts, family videos, and even network television and feature films. And that is what I do. The Shaft allows me to travel anywhere from Alaska to Africa and all around the world, never having to worry about travel limitations or additional shipping costs, because it's lightweight and small. And the best part of the Shaft, it's so simple to use, you'll be amazed at the footage you get just moments after getting your hands on it. It's no plastic toy. The Shaft is a professionally made tool made of machined aircraft aluminum. Inside the Shaft is a pair of precision bearings that magically turn the Shaft into a wonder of nature. It quickly attaches to the handle of a camera, allowing the camera to be adjusted upward or downward to just the right angle for filming. And as if that's not enough, the top of the Shaft has a hot shoe receiver to accommodate additional accessories like mics, monitors, and prompters. The Shaft is no stranger to television. It's been used to shoot TV shows like Deadliest Catch and The Rest of Everest for networks like Discovery, ESPN, and many more. But making them in my garage is one thing. Taking them to a worldwide market so everyone can enjoy the benefits of my product is a whole nother deal. That's why I need you, Kickstarter, to turn the Shaft into a reality for everyone. Become a Kickstarter backer and share this video to others on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or email. To find out more about my project on Kickstarter, go to Kickstarter.com and enter the words The Shaft into the search box. Together, you and I can make this project a huge success.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 164, Better Out Than In.
Hello again everyone, welcome back to The Rest of Everest. I'm John Miller. We're continuing with the trek this week, and joining me on this week's episode are a number of people who are there. We have Jill, Nicole, Tilo, Shaquille, Jeff, Roger, and Christine. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Let's go, John.
Thanks.
Hey, John.
Good.
All right, so as I said last week, the first day you only trekked, maybe half a day, and I know that everyone kind of got into camp early, but this first full day was somewhat brutal. It was a long day, but it got a really great look at just what some of the landscape's like that we can expect on this long trek. So let's head back up and let's rejoin the trek on its first morning. So here we go.
So I'm currently in Christine and Nicole's tent. This is the first morning after the first day of trekking. And apparently it was somewhat interesting last night. So Christine, tell me what happened in your own words.
I started feeling really queasy and struggled with the zipper on my sleeping bag, trying desperately not to throw up in the tent. And
was the zipper underneath you?
Yeah, I was tangled in it again, and finally got out of my sleeping bag, but didn't quite make it all the way out of the tent. So I most of it was outside the tent, but I nailed myself, both of my duffels, my vest, my down vest, which was near my feet, and so Nicole was wonderful enough to hold the light on me while I tried to clean up, and a while later the diarrhea hit. I'm about a 1 on the Marquardt scale, and I managed to get back to sleep. Got up for the morning and threw up again and had more diarrhea. And
Oh, so at least you had it several more times.
yeah,
So you have that going for you.
Well, I feel better now that I think I pretty much have most of last night's dinner out of my stomach. My attitude is better out than in, and so now it's just a matter of deciding whether I take Cipro or Flagyl to help with this, and I will be drinking a lot of water with sports drink in it today, because I think that's gonna be what's best for me. But
Yeah, why do you think so?
Because I know I'm slightly dehydrated. I know that I'm not going to tolerate a lot of solid food. I just know my body well enough that, yeah, part of this was definitely altitude and maybe something else inside.
You're
but
22 years old, right?
I'm 41, and I know how my body reacts to pain, and so none of this is at all unusual for me when I'm in a lot of pain. And I have to say, yesterday was not easy for me, but I was very determined to get it done, and I had a lot of support from everybody on the team, and last night Nicole was wonderful. So
all right. No, I think Christine did well.
Yeah?
Well, from my perspective, when Christine got up, it was 1:52 to be exact. So I looked at the clock and I got my torchlight on, and I asked her what happened, and because like it was dark and I didn't know what happened, and she kind of said, "Oh, I threw up," and then I just, gave her some tissue paper, and then she just started wiping up, I think, things, and then she started discovering what had some of the vomit on, and she'd go, "Oh no, my vest," and then she'd go, "Oh no, my shirt," and I go, "Oh no, my bag," I go, "Oh no, my sleeping bag."
It's everything.
And then I go, "Oh, that's all right."
Oh no, my tent mate.
I'll cry.
I think from my perspective, it's mainly that, I think it's important that she feels all right otherwise, the vomit's just a matter of wiping up, and if she feels better otherwise, then, really it wasn't an issue.
This is why Nicole is the best roommate on the face of the planet.
She's the only one that I know that can laugh and smile while she's talking about it. Such a positive attitude.
Someone else's vomit.
Items.
The only thing that I would really love if one of the Sherpas could do for me is rinse out my Rest of Everest team t-shirt, because I nailed myself pretty good with it, and then I turned it inside out and I used it to help wipe up.
Well, if nothing else, here I'm shivering a little bit, so that's why the camera's so unsteady. But no, in all seriousness, all I have to do is email Alam, my embroiderer, and he'll make a new one for you.
Okay.
It'll be fresh, and clean and smelling like a gasoline-powered generator. I think that you did a phenomenal job yesterday. Okay. And this was the price you paid for it. Okay.
Yeah.
We all pay a price Trust me. We all pay a price for it.
You really are shivering.
I am shivering, yeah.
Yeah, it was cold that morning.
I have a negative 40-degree sleeping bag. And so when I get out of it so quickly, then yeah, I start to shiver. Because it's like Shangri-La inside. But my goal this year is to visit a different tent every morning. Okay?
Well, good morning, Big Brother.
Good morning,
Surprise!
Yeah. So, for the wake-up call this morning, I wasn't quite awake enough to remember who the Sherpa was for waking us up, but he said that someone had been vomiting, and he said, it's no problem, it's no problem, it's no problem. Okay?
Well, I found a convenient rock to lean against, and just, like I said, I'm just ready to let it all out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But he said, it's no problem, it's no problem. You know.
Good morning. Feeling better.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. She's totally fine.
I will.
Listen to them. These guys are the absolute professionals, and so I have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, just because you can stop recording now. We have enough.
Okay.
And
Don't need to share every detail with everyone, but yeah, one of the many pep talks. But yeah, I tried to check in with the group every morning and see how everyone was doing.
I think I was going to say that when you're in an environment like this, you realize what's really important, or what's most important, which is, you know, our health, and be able to, like, physically fit to carry ourselves through the journey. And that I really find that it's just, yeah, it removes you from worrying about, you know, the little things like, you know, vomits on sleeping bags and things like that. You really focus on, oh, is the person physically okay, and whether they recovering or anything, and things like that. So,
well, part of what pissed me off was that it was a really good dinner. And I was still so sick the next day, and this will become pertinent towards the end of the episode, is what people need to know is I have rheumatoid arthritis. This is an autoimmune disease, and I have to take medication every day. And this particular day was also a Thursday, and that is the day that I have to take chemotherapy, an oral chemotherapy. And the worst thing, at least in my top 10 of worst things, is having to throw the pills back up, because they're hard enough to get down in the first place. So I didn't take any of my medication, nothing, the whole day. Not a smart thing to do, because of what you'll see later.
I think we were all sick at some point, but you know, luckily we had a great team and supported each other.
Well, you know,
that's very true.
People make fun of me for always talking about pooping and everything, but you know, getting that information from the group is really important because of the dehydration potential and the true danger of it out here. And so checking in with people on how their bodies are working is vitally important to kind of getting your head around the health of the group, and then be able to pinpoint, you know, who's going to need more assistance this day, and, you know, who are the people that, you know, can be completely on their own and do fine, and making sure that those resources being provided by the staff are allotted to the people who need it the most. So it's this ongoing balance, and like Nicole said, you know, it gets down to these experiences strip away all the excess stuff you don't really need, and it gets down to just what's important. How are you feeling today? How did you sleep last night? Are you eating? Are you drinking? all these different things. And
well, and you jokingly heard me call John Big Brother. And part of that is because I let him know that I have this illness. I don't let it slow me down as much as possible. And he warned me, oh, well, I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to be watching you like a hawk. And I said, oh, you're going to be Big Brother in a kind of a 1984 sort of a sense. So that's why you hear me calling him Big Brother. Because I knew he was keeping an eye on me.
Especially after what happened with Damien. I wasn't going to let anything fall through the cracks.
And you're a great big brother.
Well,
you really are. I think we had a great team. And really everybody cared about everybody in their own way. And that's part of trekking.
Okay, so...
Well, I wouldn't have made it through this day at all without everybody.
Off a little bit. Oh, we are hopefully right around the middle of the second day of trekking. We are almost at 15,000 feet, which is somewhere around the height of Dingboche on the south side. But again, this is our second day of trekking. Everyone's worn out a little bit. I certainly am, but I'm kind of keeping my pace back at the end of the group, just to be somewhat of a cleaner, making sure everyone's staying where they need to be, staying on course. The trail's a little bit hard to find up here. There's not much vegetation, nor is there much traffic out here. So here, I stay on the trail here. Won't look into the camera, but I do see a group up here, and I'm going to be quite honest that I think many of them are going way too fast. I think that there is a bit of a group mentality that if you're not staying up front with the fastest members of the group, in some way, you're losing the race. But this is not a race. We have plenty of staff members, and we can be spread out a mile apart, a couple kilometers apart. No problem at all. And I'm worried that, turn over this direction here. You can see approximately how beautiful it is up here.
It was so cool up there. It really was.
There's no tree line in Tibet because there's really no trees. But in any case, I'm trying to get up to the group, which, let's see if you can see them here. They're right there. So, in any case, I'm trying to get up to them. There's still some people behind me, but I'm really worried about some of the people up here because I think there's a little bit of pride going on, and this really is not the place for pride. I hope I've demonstrated that in the podcast. You kind of come out here being, whether you're male or female, kind of being macho in a way, and I'm hoping that it will dissipate quickly, because all I want for people is to find success, you know, whatever that may be. And hopefully that will be reaching base camp, because there's no one out here. This high up, I'm not even seeing any yaks, which means there are not even any yak herders. Yak herders have far more sense than we do, and they hang out much further down the valley. The yak herders that we do have with us are only up here because they're getting paid by us to be up here. As soon as they can, they're going to go back further down to a lower altitude. So I'm looking at a few people. I've got my eye on several people Some of the people I talked with last night about it, but those are not necessarily people I'm worried about today. I just think that people are walking too fast. You know, I'm walking at what I consider is a good pace, and I'm half an hour to an hour behind them. And together, all my experience that I have altitude, just my experience, combine all of their experience, I have far more. So I don't want any of them to get in some of the trouble I've gotten into in the past. So hopefully I can convince some of the people to slow down. Don't worry about being in front of the group. Don't worry about it being a race. Even if you're 2 hours behind the group, you'll walk into camp. What happened yesterday, let me sit on a rock here, because I'm a bit tired here. Let me sit over here. Maybe find a good rock to sit on. Ooh, there's one. Nice flat top. What happened last night was that some of the group was so fast, they beat the yaks up, and while they arrived at the same time at the yaks, and the yaks and the rest of the Sherpa staff hadn't set up any tents, so they got to camp. All I could do was just wait for their duffels to be unpacked, which took a while, and they had to wait for the tents to be set up because there wasn't anything to do except sit on the wind shadow of some of the rocks and try to stay warm, because people didn't have their lounging around at night warm clothing with them. That kind of thing's scary. Luckily today the yaks will have basically lapped us by the time they get up to camp, but that's just not the way we want to run things. So I need people to slow down. And if any of them are watching this now on the podcast and are surprised at hearing this, then you weren't listening to me. My goal is to keep everyone safe, even if that means hurting feelings. Because safety is my primary concern. So, in any case, they're waiting for me up there. I'm gonna go say hello and see how they're doing.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned here that, John, that you wish people find success, whatever that is for people. And I think probably on that day, you got what you wished for.
So what does it appear we stumbled across here?
Oh, a lake. First lake. We're trekking hard. Going up next to the creek. Now we got a lake. Mountain lake. Very cold.
You gonna go swimming?
No way.
It's pretty big too.
Here comes our yaks. For dinner. Starts to snow. I don't know. Okay.
You wanna go for a swim?
But what's the name of the song? He's gonna say it in a second.
I knew it. This is too high for me.
One of the famous
songs
ever.
Radar Love!
Yes,
Radar Love!
Did you get in your car and drive to this?
Yeah, Autobahn works better.
One of my favorite songs while driving now it's my trekking song.
Quite possibly the first time it was played in that area of the world. It's actually snowing on us now.
That was a really hard day. Really hard and beautiful day.
Yeah. Second day was a full day hike, right, John?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That was one of the toughest days.
Yeah.
And had a lot of vertical, a lot of ascent and descent in it. But piecing all this footage from all the various sources together has been a little bit hard to remember where everything is located.
What is the next obstacle behind me? Shaquille.
The next obstacle is the steepest incline I've seen so far. It looks very daunting. I don't want to look at it. I just want to look down and one step at a time.
Nicole, what's it look like to you?
It's a pass, and can see Roger, and he looks as big as maybe 2 ants. And but hopefully it's gonna be downhill from there after we go over that pass. So
I'd rather swim across that lake to the other side.
Too optimistic.
So yeah, it's a good way to look up from here to get a sense of scale, I guess. But yeah, people look very small from this angle.
That was such a deceiving view because it was so much more steep than.
Oh yeah.
So Pemba, what are you thinking about here? This is your first time here.
Yes, yes. It's really nice.
So when you see something like this, do you go, oh no, or do you go, okay?
It's okay, yeah.
we love you and hate you at the same time.
Pemba, Super Sherpa.
Have you seen lakes like this before?
Oh,
in
yeah.
Tibet?
Oh, yeah.
Like totally natural and wild?
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Oh, this is
so
great.
many, yeah.
All right, I think we should do it. Are you guys ready?
Yeah. But I think the funny thing was that if we thought this was the hard part, it's by no means.
Well, I put sonar on him about 3 feet in front of me, and that entire walk, I did nothing but stare at sonar on his butt. And at least he was a very attractive young man. Keep me going.
Yeah, that's a much better shot to show the steepness of this, this hill.
Yeah. Now you're getting the right perspective.
It was beautiful, though.
Oh, it was gorgeous. And after you get to the top, you get this sense of accomplishment you can't even explain.
That's very true.
Which is like, I don't know, 8 hours later or something.
Well, it was still light out when I actually got to the first pass.
Yeah, there were 2 passes that day, right?
Yep.
And snow.
I left my Mars bars on the trail for people behind me. Did anybody get those?
Nope.
No, but I would have if I would have found them.
And they were delicious.
Oh, there you go.
Ah. Yeah, that's the guy.
No, I think one of the yaks got it.
Remember that pass that we were looking up a little bit ago? Where it was Shaquille and Nicole and myself, and we're thinking, well, it was really high up there. Well, it turns out that it was a lot higher up than it looked. So how high up are we right now?
15,770 feet.
Okay, so whatever that is in meters is flashing at the bottom of the screen because we're too dumb in the head right now to do the translation. But in any case, we're at the top of the pass right now, and the way you can tell it's the top of the pass is because here, let's see, I'm wearing polarized lenses, so as I take the camera off axis, I can't see anything through the LCD screen. See all the prayer flags? Very peaceful up here. We're getting some snowfall, but all is well. It's extremely windy up here, but we're behind a windbreak, which is actually a little bit of a chorten that we're sitting behind. And if you look closely through here, you'll see a cow bell, or excuse me, a yak bell. Get it. I can see it right there. Will it let me zoom in on it? Let's see. It's beautiful up here. Hard to see with how bright it is out here still, even with it being overcast. But in any case, we made it. And apparently from here it's all downhill to the camp, which we've heard is 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we're not sure whether it's 2 hours in our time or in local time. So
Right.
it might be 4 hours
Yeah.
to camp, but I guess we'll find out. But right now at this point, we don't know where the trail is to go down, so we're just gonna chill up here, both literally and figuratively. And then hopefully Lob Song or someone will come up and point us in what direction to go. So hopefully next time you see me, we'll be in camp. But really nice being up this high so fast, and knowing that we're going down is always a good thing.
It's a very good thing. And sense of accomplishment, at least for me. You've done this many times, but I've never hiked.
Whoops.
I ran out of tape.
Down was a long way away.
You want to finish that thought, Shaquille?
No, there was a lot of crying and sobbing and whimpering after that, so I'm glad it stopped.
I think on that day there were a few moments where you go, oh, this is not possible, like this is going to be so hard. And then every time you overcome, go and sort of, go past those moments, it's such a great sense of achievement.
I want everybody to look at this particular landscape. Now I'm about 4-5 hours behind everybody.
Yeah, I'm on the radio with Sonam there. I think trying to see where you are.
And I did that descent in the dark. And I'm so glad I did it in the dark.
But in this case, I know my body. I'm almost there, so trust me.
Okay, I just want you to know that I care about you, okay? And in fact, right now, I'm lying on top of your sleeping bag to get it all nice and warm for you. When you do hit camp, you can just dive into your sleeping bag.
You too, big brother, and I'm not going to die on you. A couple of times I wanted to give up, but nobody would let me. Now just let me get down the mountain.
Is there anything you need from us down here?
Just don't touch me when you see me. I cannot take being touched right now. The 5-row is just too active. All of my trigger points are just too active. Tomorrow, you can give me all the hugs you want.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Is there any medication? You said it's not going to work at this point, but is there anything you can think of that might be good to start taking now so that it kicks in at some point to allow you to keep sleeping through the night? Over?
If I take anything now, I'm not going to get down the mountain. It's going to give me too much fatigue, and I'm tired as it is. So just let me do this, and then I will take all my meds, and I will be fine. But right now, I have to do this my way. Over.
Understood. Everyone's just really worried about you, and so I'm kind of playing go-between here. I just want to make sure that you're okay and going to make it here, okay?
I'm going to make it. I made it this far. Over.
Okay, well, we're here. We're waiting for you, and we'll be here when you arrive, okay? Over?
that was an over and out.
That descent was hell.
Yeah, it was steep. It was steep, and I know that at some point...
I hadn't actually seen the footage of the descent until 3 or 4 months ago. And it wasn't until then that it kind of hit me what I had actually accomplished. And now, I didn't accomplish it alone.
Tilo for a long time with you too.
Yeah, Tilo with me for most of the day, but during most of the night descent, I know I had our Sirdar with me, and I cannot remember for the life of me which other Sherpa was with me. I know at one point every single one of them had come up the mountain and brought me food or brought me something warm to drink. And at one point, they were so worried about me that they were begging me to let them carry me down the mountain. And when a couple of the Sherpas had grabbed my arms just to steady me, I was in so much pain at that point that I stopped breathing. I didn't tell them that, but when I made them let me go, and really all I could do was put one foot in front of the other. And anybody with rheumatoid arthritis, you know the kind of pain that I'm talking about. But I really don't want to let that scare anybody off from trying to do a trek like this. Because if you want something bad enough, you'll do it. And I wanted to do this trek bad enough.
Yeah, good times. Good times. You know, we go through a really difficult section of the trail when there's almost or no video of it. There's no video of the descent. There might be a few pictures here and there, but there's no video, which means everyone was just struggling, and everyone was having a hard time. But we were rewarded by our efforts on that long day by our first rest day, which is what we will see next week. So how was that first segue? So anyway, everyone, thanks so much for joining me. Really, it's just so much fun watching this stuff again and remembering all these things. So
I'm glad this part's over.
Yeah. But the landscape gets more and more beautiful each day that we trek into it. So really amazing stuff coming up, and really nice rest day. We had a lot of fun on that rest day. So thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
See you, John.
Thanks, John.
Bye, guys.
John.
I'm really glad I didn't die on you.
The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. Please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest: The Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.